Hi, welcome again to the Stogie Palace. I'm your host, Chris. Today we are smoking a Brick House Maduro, and of course it's not focusing. Here, let me try this. I see people do this to help it focus. Oh well. Doing something different with this one here. That's a punch cut, which I don't know if you can pick that up or not. I need to probably turn some more light on in here. And the reason why is because the cap on there is kind of flat and it's a little bit wide of a cigar. So I was concerned a punch cut may not, or a straight cut may not do it. It may take off too much of the cap since it's really shallow. It's real, the way it goes like that, flattens out in a hurry. And the V cut, I wasn't sure if it was going to work. We'll see. I'm getting a good draw off of that little punch cut. It's a nice flavor. So let's get this thing fired up and see what happens. Nice start, nice aroma, nice flavor, peppery for sure. Tell you a little bit about this while we're letting it warm up. It's a 5" by 54 ring gauge robusto. It's rated as medium to full. The wrapper is Brazilian, the binder and filler from Nicaragua, and it was made apparently in Nicaragua too. Although I'm not totally sure about that. J.C. Newman is an American company. I don't think they made this in America though. I got it for $3.80 on Cigar Bid. I saw it. It's like, I'll give it a shot. It's been aging for 2 months. I found out about it through the Cigar Authority podcast, which you should check out. So, since I brought up Nicaragua, look for another video recorded concurrently with this one. Yes, I can record 2 at the same time, sometimes 3. And where I talk about countries, politics of cigars, not so much the politics, but well, there's always politics involved when countries like Nicaragua in the past have shut down or burned down cigar companies, or in Civil War, something called, or Cuba. There's a really good example. I don't want to touch on that. I'm sure it's something I'll revisit later, especially with the news in Cuba. What's going on there? It's an evolving story. Don't know what's going to happen. Don't know if they're going to start selling Cubans like they sell these from Nicaragua. So get a little further in the cigar, give you some more impressions of it. So down about a third, moving into the second third. Ash holding on, so we call a nice tight white ash. But once again, this is kind of a brindle, kind of like, like a dog. Cigar is not a dog though. I like it. It's pretty smooth. Haven't really sensed any harshness. Just having water with it. Little dry back here, but once again, it's dry out here. It's 26% humidity. Early on, I was hearing some cracking sounds coming from the cigar, which is why I did that punch cut. I didn't want to cut too deeply into the cap where your mouth goes, because I didn't want to start splitting. And it's not, but I was hearing some cracking. And it's because of temperature. The humidity is 40% less here than it is in the humidor. So as far as the burn, pretty good. Can't complain about that. I know this ash is going to fall off sooner or later. I'm just hoping it doesn't fall off on me. So let me give you a little description on Cigars International. As you notice, there's more light now because of the timer in here. I would have been in complete darkness if I didn't turn on another light, because this timer. But let me tell you what this says about this cigar. Surely you've heard of Brick House, a 92 rated gem that managed to work its way onto the best 25 cigars of 2010 list 5 years ago. Well, J.C. Newman, the manufacturer, is back with the Brick House Maduro. This cigar is darker and spicier than its predecessor. An oily Brazilian Arapiraca Maduro wrapper houses a blend of premium Nicaraguan long fillers and a Nicaraguan binder. The bold, full-bodied flavor profile is punctuated by notes of cocoa and sweetness. I noticed that on the cold draw. That might be true. Slow burning, firm in hand, and deliciously tasty. It's a fitting follow-up that will easily work its way onto your top 10 list. I don't know if it's going to make my top 10 list. It seems like every day that goes by that I smoke a cigar, they're all getting into the top 10 list. They all can't get there. There's going to have to be some in there that are going to be rated below 95. So it's hard to say where this one will end up. It's pretty good. Even with all my talking. There, ash just came off. Nice, one big chunk. Even with all my talking, it's staying lit pretty easily. It's got 2 bands on there. I don't know if you can tell that or not. So, be adding this to collection. I haven't tried a retrohale yet. Now is probably a good time to give it a whirl. Retrohale, for those that you don't know, is when it comes out your nose. You blow it out your nose. You're still not inhaling. You're just getting it far enough to get up in your sinuses, because your olfactory senses up there and your sinuses have more flavor or taste receptors than even in your mouth. So it's a way to pick up more flavors. I'm just getting mostly just peppery type. I didn't notice any transition from the first to second. It's burnt the same. A lot of times the burn will change a little bit as far as the amount of smoke coming out or the draw, but there was no change there. It's not as harsh as the first part when I first lit it, but I wouldn't say it's a flavor bomb. It's strong, peppery. Just I'm not. Ooh, the waft smells a lot like most of the Maduros I've smoked recently, which smell good. Can't tell you what it is. Wood, cedar, maybe, that kind of smell, but spicier. So imagine having a fire in a fire pit with some nice smelling wood, but wood that was soaked maybe in sugar. I don't know. Real quick, talking about the dryness, and that is a problem when you have a thin wrapper. And I want to show you something real quick. Got a white backdrop so you can see it possibly better. See that? That's what I'm talking about. When it starts coming undone, cracking from the humidity. It's not totally the cigar's fault, but in a way it sort of is if it's a thin wrapper. But it's a nice wrapper. It's a nice flavor. I can't ding it for that, but anyway, the ash is holding on pretty good. The burn line's holding on. The draw has gotten better. The smoke output's gotten better since the very beginning. It was a little tougher than I like at the very beginning, but it's loosened up nicely. So I'll check in probably one more time towards the end, past the band point, and see what my final thoughts are. Getting down to the band point here. Actually, the first band, this little Maduro one, I already pulled off. So I'm going to try to pull this one out now. I don't have much in the way of fingernail edges, so I had to start it with my special multi-purpose tool. And I like saving these, like I said, for a scrapbook, but man, this one here is not cooperating very well. That means, for me, that means the glue that they use to adhere it to itself better not to be adhered to the cigar itself, or else it'll rip it. It's not coming apart very nicely, which is a shame because it's going to kind of mess it up for saving it. See that? That's not good. Now it came off without doing any damage. I have to wait to get the light turned back on. It didn't do any damage that I can see. Maybe you can see it better with the camera, but no. Well, it did leave a little bit behind there. Yeah, that makes it come down in overall. I don't know what that's going to do to the burn when it gets to that point. As far as the cigar itself, though, it's like I said, I didn't notice the transition between the first and second third. I'm down to the final third here, and it's burning real well. It's putting off a lot of smoke, and the flavors are nice. So there is a little bit of a shift there towards the tail end. So I won't mark it down for the band because of that little bit of complexity there. And to me, complexity means changes. First third to second to third, final third. Some may argue complexity is between the wrapper, the binder, and the filler, what complexity there is right there at that point of the burn, which is probably true also. But I want to notice flavor changes. I want to notice, I don't want the same thing throughout. Probably can't hear it, but it's still kind of crackling a little bit, which is probably because of the lack of humidity out here. But the wrapper itself hasn't done too badly. I don't smell. I think there might be a little crack there starting to form. Get a little soft towards the end. Not warm yet though. That's good. But tons of smoke. The smoke output has gone up. Let's try that retrohale again. Which is I don't do that more than 3 or 4 times, maybe 5, 6 at the most during a cigar, depending on the length of the cigar. And this is a 5-inch cigar. Strong, a little bit of a burn there, but sweetness to the flavor. I like that, and that's mainly due to the wrapper. So I might as well just go ahead and score it now because I can't imagine it changing a whole lot, and the only thing that'll happen is it'll get warmer, and towards the end here, and well, maybe I better hold off on scoring. I mean, right now I'm saying it's a 94. If there's any kind of harshness, it'll take a hit on that. So just a little bit longer, then we'll wrap it up. So that pretty much wraps it up. I want to show you the band again real quick. Pretty nice looking band, but you can see there where the band didn't come off as nicely as it should, and it does on most. But it's a decent looking band overall. Definitely one to add to the collection. It's going to end up with a 93, which is about right. Like I said on that description, the non-Maduro version scored a 92. I like Maduro. I expected it would score higher than that, but not on par with some of the ones I've rated at 94, which are definitely upper tier cigars. So where I marked it down was flavor, just that one slight shift, so not a ton of complexity. It razor sharp burn though, a little loosely packed cigar. The crackling never seemed to stop, so I guess it's maybe a wrapper that may be a little on the thinner side. Yes, I know it's dry out here, but I've smoked other cigars when it was dry out here, and I have to compare it against those. Maybe they had thicker, better wrappers. But a very nice aroma, decent construction, not outstanding, but better than average, and that's how I would rate this cigar. To decent to better than average. So that about does it for this Brick House Maduro in Robusto. Check out my other videos if you like. Subscribe. And you know, I never know from one day to the next what I'm going to be smoking. Just open up the humidor, see what catches my eye, and although I'm not trying to smoke two of the same kind of row, what fun would that be? Rating two the same, you know, one day after the next. So, thanks for watching. It's Chris in the Stogie Palace, bidding you adieu. Or since cigars are more of a Spanish kind of thing, adios.